Right now in the league, there are so many amazing quarterbacks. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the NFL landscape change dramatically over the next few years. Now, with that being said, unfortunately, a lot of those very above average guys are stuck on some below average teams. And sadly, will probably go the rest of their careers without ever winning a Super Bowl. Back in late 2018, we posted a video of 5 QBs who would win a Super Bowl and 5 who wouldn't. We were right on saying Patrick Mahomes would win one. We were also correct in predicting that the now retired Andrew Luck, Alex Smith, and Phillip Rivers wouldn't win one. However, we were wrong in listing Matthew Stafford as one who won't win a ring as well. So many QBs have either retired or switched teams since we published that video. It's time to update it more than 3 years later. So, without further ado, let's dive into 5 quarterbacks who will win a Super Bowl and 5 who won't. Josh Allen. There's a case to be made that out of every active starting QB who has yet to win a ring, Allen is probably in the best position to get one. Buffalo Bills GM Brandon Beane and head coach Sean McDermott have done near-perfect jobs in assembling a championship-caliber roster around their franchise QB. Allen is a top 5 signal caller in the game. Stephon Diggs is a top 5 wideout. And the ferocious defense, which added Von Miller in the 2022 offseason, got a whole lot better. Allen, Diggs, Miller, Jordan Poyer, Gabriel Davis, and Tre'Davious White are a special core to build around. Allen has shown that he has the it factor, nearly leading the Bills to a second straight conference championship game in 2021. It takes a top-tier front office, excellent coaching, and a franchise QB to vie for a championship. The Bills have all 3 and much more. Trust us, this loyal sports city will be holding a Super Bowl parade in the very near future. Won't. Dak Prescott. It's too easy to write off the Dallas Cowboys every year because, well, they always find ways to play well below expectations. But there have been some very good teams in the Dak Prescott era that looked poised to go on deep runs, namely the 2016, 2018, and 2021 squads. However, as usual, Dallas kept finding ways to unravel in the big games. Now, this isn't entirely on Prescott. I mean, we saw just how horrible this team was without him for the final 11 games of the 2020 season. Prescott is a top 10 QB in the game, but at this rate, it's hard to see him ever winning a Super Bowl if he stays with the Cowboys. It doesn't matter how many star players they have, they've been consistently snake-bitten in the post-Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith era. Jerry Jones will always find a way to mismanage the team and hand out albatross contracts to past their prime players, and so on and so forth. Do Cowboys fans really think an owner who kept Jason Garrett as head coach for 10 years can bring a championship to Dallas? Dak's only hope of winning a ring is to play elsewhere once he realizes Dallas isn't the place to win. He just has to follow the footsteps of Matthew Stafford. Joe Burrow. Put it this way, the 2021 season wasn't even Joe Burrow's ceiling. And yet the Bengals were just a few short plays away from defeating the Los Angeles Rams to win Super Bowl 56. Don't think for an instant that Joe Cool has hit his peak. His first full NFL season got the Bengals to their first Super Bowl appearance in 33 years. Yeah, just think about that for a minute. Once Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins hit their primes, look out. And to think how much success they had behind that awful O-line in 2021, which allowed Joey B to get sacked a whopping 70 times, including playoffs. Well, guess what? The Bengals brought in 3 quality veterans in Alex Kappa, Lael Collins, and Ted Karras to fix up the pass protection. So now you've got all that firepower playing behind a much better O-line? Oh yeah, you really ain't seen nothing yet. It feels weird saying nice things about the Bengals front office, but hey, they actually built a bona fide contender. Burrow showed that the pressure and spotlight isn't too much for him. Heck, if it weren't for Aaron Donald and Von Miller, he'd already have a Super Bowl ring and wouldn't even qualify for this list. That's okay. We'd bet on Burrow leading the Bengals to multiple Super Bowl championships. It's only a matter of time until everything comes into place for Joe Cool and the Bengals. Won't. Ryan Tannehill. If only Tannehill was traded to the Tennessee Titans some years earlier. Or if he only left the Miami Dolphins well before 2019. Tannehill was an above-average QB in South Beach. The Dolphins just failed to build a quality roster around him time and time again. All he needed was the right coaching staff and an above-average supporting cast to flourish. The former 2012 first-round pick revived his career after getting traded to the Music City in a cap-dumping move. He's replaced the struggling Marcus Mariota as Tennessee's starter. And, well, the rest, as they say, is history. And Tannehill led the Titans to the 2019 AFC Championship game. That was followed by consecutive AFC South Division winning seasons. Tannehill, Derrick Henry, and A.J. Brown quickly formed one of the NFL's elite offensive trios, bringing the Titans back to relevance after a very rough decade. Unfortunately for Tannehill, time just isn't on his side to win a Super Bowl. He's getting up there in age, and the Titans have holes on the defense and all over the offensive line. Henry remains in his prime, but can he stay healthy and productive in an era where running backs hit a wall before they turn 30? Well, we're about to find out. Tannehill just doesn't stack up with all the other elite quarterbacks in the AFC. It's hard to envision his Titans outlasting the likes of Burrow's Bengals, Mahomes' Chiefs, Allen's Bills, Lamar Jackson's Baltimore Ravens, Deshaun Watson's Cleveland Browns, and Justin Herbert's Los Angeles Chargers within the conference. Furthermore, Tannehill's production notably regressed in 2021. His age and injury history especially make that a cause for concern. Perhaps he will prove us wrong. I mean, Matt Stafford won a Super Bowl at the Los Angeles Rams, and he's the same age as Tannehill. But the time and odds really aren't on Tanny's side to deliver a championship here. And honestly, that's all there is to it. Well, Mac Jones. The many haters of the New England Patriots were hoping to see the evil empire unravel for good following Tom Brady's departure. Well, sorry to break it to you, but Emperor Bill Belichick still runs the show, and the Death Star isn't going anywhere. All the Patriots needed to return to contention was a new franchise QB, and the former Alabama star was up for the challenge. Jones showed signs of future stardom during his rookie year, leading the New England Patriots to a 10-win season and a playoff berth. Jones is only going to get better with each passing year. He is in a great position long-term, playing with the greatest head coach ever, a top-tier offensive line, and a potent rushing attack. And the New England D, of course, will always be a top 10 unit under Belichick. It doesn't matter who stays and who goes, his defense is just going to be among the league's best, like it's always been for the last 2 decades. Patriots don't have the most star-studded roster, but they remain the model organization. The winning culture Belichick implemented in 2001 isn't going away, and Jones is just really getting started. So yeah, bet on the Patriots eventually winning a Super Bowl. Lock it in, it's happening. We just can't tell you when exactly. Won't. Matt Ryan. We can only say this. Ryan would not be on this list if the Atlanta Falcons traded him, say, 2 or 3 years earlier. Ryan is nearing the very end of a superb career that could net him a gold jacket one day. It's just too bad he didn't get traded to a Super Bowl contender much earlier. The Falcons waited until after Ryan's age 37 season in 2021 to deal the 2016 MVP. He was dealt to the Indianapolis Colts for a 3rd-round pick following the franchise's failure to land Deshaun Watson from the Houston Texans. We don't doubt that the Colts will be much better with Matty Ice than they were with Carson Wentz. But regardless of how much young talent is on the Horseshoes roster, this is a very small window for Matty Ice to win a ring. Ryan will be entering his age 38 campaign, and the group of pass catchers he has in Indianapolis doesn't exactly stack up with what he was working with during his heyday in Atlanta. Realistically, Ryan has 2 or 3 more productive years left in him. We just aren't willing to bet on the Colts making a Super Bowl run during that time frame, not in such a stacked AFC. Will Justin Herbert. It feels so risky putting Herbert here simply because he plays on the Los Angeles Chargers. This team has always found unbelievable ways to lose, be it in the regular season or the postseason. But at some point, you gotta break through, right? It's just so hard to look at Herbert's talent level and say, yeah, that guy won't win a Super Bowl. The Chargers have a great GM in Tom Telesco, a savvy risk-taking head coach in Brandon Staley, and so much all-pro talent across the roster. Few QBs can match Herbert's poise, calmness, and resilience. Up next, time to bring the Super Bowl to the team that drafted him 6th overall in 2020. Bet on him doing it. Won't. Kirk Cousins. Honestly, it's quite surprising that Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings have been content with keeping this partnership going. In the 2022 offseason, Minnie gave Cousins a 1-year extension, marking his 3rd contract with the franchise since 2018. That is a lot of money for a guy who, has 1 playoff win in 7 seasons as a primary starter. We aren't fully blaming Cousins for many shortcomings, of course, but sometimes it's necessary to make a change at the quarterback position when the guy you have isn't good enough to win you a ring, but at the same time also isn't bad enough to get you a top draft pick. This team just isn't built to go on a deep playoff run. Cousins has the weapons in Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, and Adam Thielen, but you need a superstar quarterback to win a championship in this day and age, and it just doesn't feel like Cousins will ever be that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
We've seen his receivers complain about him quite often. If they don't have faith in Cousins' ability to get them the ball, then why should we have the faith in his ability to get his team to a Super Bowl? Will Lamar Jackson? This one doesn't need much explanation. Jackson is arguably the most dynamic, entertaining quarterback in the game when he's healthy. The Baltimore Ravens have done a wonderful job installing an offense around Jackson's talents. His 37-12 record through 4 seasons speaks for itself. He's a winner and a future champion. The genius Ravens front office and the John Harbaugh-led coaching staff have never stopped surrounding Jackson with the necessary playmakers. And aside from a 2021 season that was ravaged by injuries, the Baltimore D constantly ranks near the very best. Find us a better secondary than the one this group has when healthy. The Jackson-led Ravens team can be just as dangerous as any other squad in the AFC. These Ravens won Super Bowls with Trent Dilfer and Joe Flacco, who weren't exactly superstars. So why can't they break through and get one with Jackson, who is actually an elite quarterback? Won't. Derek Carr. This is not a knock against Carr. Trust us, he silenced many critics in 2021 by leading the Las Vegas Raiders to a playoff berth in a roller coaster, drama-filled season. And yes, Carr is in line to put up career numbers with old college pal Devontae Adams now starring in Sin City. You can argue that Carr has the best set of weapons in the league in Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, and Josh Jacobs. And something tells us Josh McDaniels' next head coaching stint in Vegas will go much better than his last one in Denver. Pairing Chandler Jones with star pass rusher Max Crosby should take that defensive unit to another level too. So then, why aren't we betting on Carr hoisting the Lombardi Trophy with the Raiders? Well, Carr, Adams, Jones, and Waller aren't exactly youngsters anymore. The Raiders' long-term outlook on the O-line still scares us, and this defense still has gaping holes at linebacker and in the secondary. Plus, Carr is merely the 4th best quarterback in an AFC West division that also has Mahomes, Herbert, and Russell Wilson. And the Raiders are not quite on par with other AFC heavyweights outside of the division, like the Patriots, Bills, Ravens, and Bengals. We do expect these revamped Raiders to make the postseason several more times with Carr. But a Super Bowl? No, not happening. And if we're wrong, I'm sure Raiders fans won't hesitate to let us hear it. But which other NFL QBs will or won't win a Super Bowl? Join us in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.